All right, well, hello everyone. I just wanted to provide a quick little video about some learning strategies for graduate school or DPT programs or PTA programs in general. I want to start by this little story that Seth Godin tells about a writing conference where Stephen King was there and he gave the people some time to ask him some questions. So Stephen King, this famous author, had written more and had more books converted to movies than any other author in our generation, so very successful writer. And someone asked him there, Stephen King, you're very successful, what kind of pencil do you use? And the story's pictured here. And there's different applications of this story, but one of the takeaways from this is that it doesn't really matter what kind of pencil Stephen King uses or what kind of typewriter or computer or what environment he uses for his writing, because we're all unique, and what may work for Stephen King may not work for you. So for that reason, I want to show you just a few different options of some study tools and principles that I found to be effective with my students or with myself personally. And I want to give you an opportunity to think about these different things. And in the description below, I'm going to provide links to all these different tools. And I might suggest that you look at this video multiple times throughout your schooling, because something that grabs your attention today may be different than what grabs your attention 6 months from now, and some strategies for that. So I hope it's effective. Let me just take you through a few websites and a few videos, and that'll probably spark some interest in some other things. So the first thing that I would draw attention to is a YouTuber and a blogger called Thomas Frank. Excellent material, very science-based, evidence-based material that he presents in his video. So this video here, 13 essential science-backed tips. Excellent video. It's going to go over study session timing, going to go over interleaving, some different concepts, talk about exercise. So I definitely would check out this video. It's only 12 and a half minutes, so if you could check that out and see what your takeaways are from that. One of the tools that he uses that I really like is this Pomodoro timer. So there's different times that you can set, but the standard is going to be for 25 minutes. So to work for 25 minutes and dig deep into a certain concept. And then after 25 minutes, to get up, take a 5 or 10 minute break, clear your mind, get some movement, get some activity, get some blood flowing, and then go back in for another 25 minutes or so. I think that's a good spread for that. So that's one option. The next thing I want to talk a little bit about is productivity, and this has been something that's really changed radically for me over the past few years. Very easily, I am distracted by many different things. I'm constantly getting other thoughts in my head that take me away from my task at hand. So I just want to play a little bit about this video. It's called the chainsaw effect, and I think this shows this visually.
By mapping the so-called chainsaw effect, that explains why multitasking might not be such a good idea after all. Let's map your productivity over the course of a typical day. As you begin work in the morning, your productivity slowly rises until you reach a certain productivity level. However, as you are interrupted, let's say by a colleague or an incoming email, your productivity level drops. And then you need a certain time to get back to the level that you were at before. In manual work, this would be quite fast. In mental work, however, this can take up to 15 minutes. Again, you work at your previous productivity level, but chances are you're going to be interrupted again, and your productivity sinks dramatically. Again, you need a certain time to get back to where you were before, and as this happens numerous times during a typical business day, your average productivity is in fact much lower than it could be because of these re-immersion times that take away a lot of your business time. Now, what can you do to avoid this chainsaw effect? That's called chainsaw because the curve that you see before you looks like the blade of a chainsaw.
So if you just think about what may be your daily activity, your routine, is sometimes you're digging into a certain topic, whether that's by yourself or in a group, and you're all in a group at a table working individually, then someone brings up something. Someone says, hey, did you get the notes from this class? Or what about this? and that can distract you basically from that one topic. Or sometimes you get a notification on your phone or anything like that. So these breaks that happen that get our attention offset really can draw out how long it takes us to study, and it really can take a lot of our productivity away. So for me, one of my big things is I love the airplane mode on my phone or on my computer to switch off Wi-Fi and just really dig into a topic just for that 20-25 minutes. Even my email, for example, right now it's open here, but I'm in the offline mode. So if I am working on something and then an email pops up, then sometimes I want to respond to that email, or I want to look at this, and then that gets me off track. And then, like with the chainsaw effect, then it takes me maybe 5 or 10 minutes to get reintroduced into that topic or concept. And sometimes just it takes a simple text message, and then it makes me off track again. So really trying to block these chunks of time, I think 20 minutes, 25 minutes is usually a good amount for one topic, then change gears to a different topic. So I think that's really beneficial. Another tool, and I have some other classmates in my EDD program that use this. There's a program called Speechify. I'll link to this below. VoiceStream is another one, but it takes your notes, PDF, or documents, or even scans of pictures, and it reads those out loud, and you can change the pace that's read. So this is just a quick video to show how you can take.
One of the most important features inside Speechify is the ability to physically scan books with your phone and it will read them to you. To me, this is magic. It's the thing I wished existed when I was 10 years old. This is the first book I ever actually finished. It's called On My Honor. You've scanned all the pages that you want to listen with. Usually it takes me about 5 minutes to do a book for like a 200-page book. You'll click on the bottom right corner. You'll see the number of pages that have been scanned.
So let's say you've printed your notes out, or you have a physical textbook, and you take some pictures of that. If there's images in the textbook, sometimes that's hard, or they put references and they read those out. But if you have a lot of text and you just want to go for a walk and listen to that as you walk or as you're doing something or in the car ride back and forth, this can be really effective for some individuals, and you can have this as an extension in your Chrome browser, something as well. For example, this is another blog website or reference that I'll recommend. Cal Newport is an excellent author, and he has the How to Become a Straight A Student. I've recommended that book in the personal reflection before, and I have that in my office if you want to stop by and borrow that. Excellent book. But let's say you didn't want to read this article, but you want to listen to it. You can just highlight the words here, or the whole thing, or whatever you want to listen to. Click up here.
In computer programming, it's common to split your program into multiple different threads that run simultaneously, as this often simplifies application.
You can change the speed. Most of us tend to talk around 200 words per minute. Some people say I talk faster than that, but I try not to. But 200 words per minute, and you can go rabbit mode or more turtle mode, or the little symbols here, and you can do that on your phone or on the app here. So I think that can be beneficial. Another thing is Quizlet. A lot of people are familiar with Quizlet. Duolingo has a similar flashcard system, which I haven't used, which I think is pretty good. My one takeaway or recommendation on Quizlet is that there definitely seems to be a benefit to creating your own Quizlets and figuring out what to create your Quizlets with what type of information, because if you have a classmate or a friend or someone else that creates a Quizlet, then you just use that Quizlet. Maybe they've shared it with you and you use it. There doesn't necessarily seem to be the same translation effect when you create it and when you go by that, or if you hand write your own note cards and you use those, sometimes that's better than pre-made note cards such as you can buy with GREs or other things like that. So I think making your own Quizlets and using those Quizlets is really good. And Thomas Frank's videos, he has some links to some other software that does that besides Quizlet, so I think that can be good. A second blog that I'll mention is My Road to PT. This was written by a student physical therapist as she's progressing through school, and then as she graduates, and some comments there. She has some study tools that she uses. She even posts some Word documents for her notes, but some links here. And I think the overall blog articles are really good to look at as she's in PT school. What are her reflections? And it's nothing you have to read heavy into. It's just a few minutes here and there just to read through some of those articles. I think it puts some things into perspective, but she has this 10 helpful study tips article, which I think is good. It just may give some context. It's from a few years ago. That is good. And then the last tool I'll leave you with is the Score Builders website. Score Builders is a test preparation book and software and website. They have an app called PT 365. It's free, and what it does is it gives you one question per day for the PT or PTA board exam of a series of hundreds and hundreds of questions, and you can take one question per day. So this is something great if you just have 2 minutes and you pull up your phone and you're waiting in line for somewhere, or you're walking, or in between, you're at a stoplight and you have a couple minutes. You could just look at that question there, and then it'll give you some different feedback on the answer. And this is something where you may have nothing to do with that content yet. That may be a third-year course, and you don't have anything to do with that, and you're not familiar with that. Just by seeing the question helps you understand the style and the types of technical aspects to something that you may be receiving in the future, and that just is a head start on that. And what I'm going to do is try and take some of these questions and put them as questions, maybe bonus questions on the exam. But I think that's a good tool. It's free. And what happens is if you don't read the question that day, it accumulates. And so if you want to, you can batch this, and every Saturday morning you can look at 7 questions. But then after so much time, the questions do expire and you can't go back 30 or 60 days in the past and look at that question. But you just linked at 1 question per day for free, unless you buy their product, which they're going to try and get you to do. But the free 1 question per day, I think, is great. So those are the main study tips I want to leave you with. Remember, there's not any one type that's going to be good for you. There's just a series of different strategies, but checking out some of these videos and these blog articles I think will be helpful and beneficial. So I hope that was good, and take away with it what you can. And thanks for tuning in. Thank you.